far from me, never far from me, yeah. You're never far from me, never far from me. You're never far. Your love is close. You're never far. You're never far from me, never far from me. Your love is close. You're never far. You're never far from me, never far from me. Yeah. I'm living in a grace where everything is more than I imagined, where what is undeserved is freely given. All my regrets and my failures, all of my wrongs have been left at the cross. Now all that remains is the Father's love. Oh Lord, you take me as I am. Over and over you call me yours again. You sit all still, you want me. How you love me, how you love me. Your kindness and mercy remind me how you love me, how you love me as I am. So let us be together, seated at your table in communion. Everyone is equal in your presence. Where I'm from or where I've been, the way that I've lived or the color of skin, nothing will change how the Father loves me. Lord, you take me as I am. Over and over you call me yours again. Oh, you sit all still, you want me. How you love me, how you love me. Your kindness and mercy remind me how you love me, how you love me as I am. All my regrets and my failures, all of my wrongs have been left at the cross. Now all that remains is the Father's love. Oh Lord, you take me as I am. Over and over you call me yours again. You sit all still, you want me. How you love me, how you love me. Your kindness and mercy remind me how you love me, how you love me as I am.
This ain't a game for me. I hardly ever sleep, 'cause I've been trying to find the words to explain the things that you do to me. I love you so bad that it hurts. I'll just sing and worship, but that ain't enough. No, that ain't enough. No, heeded to your purpose.
2, 1. Hey, welcome to Journey Students Online. We are so excited that you are joining us. Hey, I'm Justin, and I am thrilled to be able to have this night with you. So, hey, what I want you to do, if you're there, I want you to, on the comment section, write the best thing that happened this week to you. If you got the best pizza, if you got to go to, got to go out to eat, if you got an A on your test, let everybody know what your best thing this week is. So I'm going to give you a little second to do that. Let's see, what's my best thing? Let's see. Oh, I got to ride my bike. That was cool. Cycle, that was fun. Got to do that. Ran 70 degrees. Can't beat that. That's fantastic. All right, so I better see all your comments going. I want to see everybody's best thing that happened this week. All right, so starting out, we're going to play a game. This is like the ultimate rock, paper, scissors challenge. All right, so hey, we got Josh and Jill. All right, Josh and Jill are here. They're ready to play this game. This is what's going to happen. They're going to go rock, paper, scissors, but if they lose, they got to put their face in a pillow full of, what's the first one? Chocolate, and then we got eggs, we got flour, we got ketchup, we got mustard. So hey, make sure you're cheering on who you want to win. If it's Josh or Jill, we're gonna go first round. Let's get that chocolate all over. Put it all over that pillow. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yes, get it all over there. That's it. Yup. All right, it's gonna be this. We're starting out dessert, right? Dessert's the best way to go. All right, so they know the thing. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Loser gets a face full of chocolate. All right, here we go. You ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh! Oh, yes! Oh, so much chocolate. She can't see. Uh-oh. Hold on, let's get a... Okay, well, here's the, if you want to... All right, so now we're going to put flour on there. All right, there we go. Yes. Flour all over. All right, are you ready? Can you see? Okay. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. What are you doing? All right, hold on, let's do it. All right, okay. All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, no, again. Oh, here we go. Oh, yes. All right. Yeah, let's put some eggs on it. All right, we got to get some eggs on it here. 2 on each. Hold on, we got to get some eggs on it here if you want to wipe off more. Oh, yeah, you're opening them. Oh, yeah, crack them open. Crack them open. Crack them open. Oh, that's disgusting. He just ate that egg. That's nasty. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Look at that. We are getting wrong. You know, I think we're baking a cake here. This is what we're doing. We're getting ready to bake a cake. All right, here we go. Jill, you got to get this one. You got to win this one. All right. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, there it is. Oh, tie. We're going again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yes, there it is. All right, Josh. Smash them. Oh, that's all right. We'll get egg all up in it. There it is. Yes. Yes. All right. We love it. All right, let's put a little ketchup on there now or mustard. Yes, this is it. This is what we do at Journey Students. All right, I want you guys to make sure, tell me who's going to win this. Who's got the best facial structure going on here? Oh, that looks disgusting. Oh, no. Oh, that's nasty, y'all. Okay. All right, here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, do it again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, no. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's disgusting. That is all right, we're down to our last one, right? Down to our last one. Mustard, here we go. Last one. Here we go. Oh, this is disgusting. I wish you guys could it's like the texture of it. It's like the egg is, ew. Oh, yes. Got that? Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, all right, here we go. This is the last one. Ready? Here we go. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yeah, all right. There it is. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, yes. All right, that is awesome. Congratulations, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We got some towels. Wave. Yeah, look at everybody. Wave at them in the camera. All right, that is awesome. Well, hey, we're going to get this cleaned up. Check out this message bumper before we get going, and then Justin and I are going to have a good conversation, so check this bumper out.
If you want to know where you are or what port you're on, look in your cell phone. Because your cell phone will tell me who you talk to. And whoever you spend your time talking to, that's the port you're on. You cannot surround yourself with blindness and expect to see. Can't run around with prejudiced people and not be prejudiced. You can't run around with arrogant people and not be arrogant. You cannot run with packs of angry women and expect to be happy and fulfilled. You cannot hang out with a bunch of defeated, going nowhere, no vision men and be an overcomer. You are who you hang around. Because if I am down and everybody else is down around me, then down becomes normal. But what makes down terrible is when you are down and you can still see up.
I'm begging you, man. I'm begging you from a man to a man. Let go. Let go. Let go of these people who you know aren't for you.
Awesome. Hey, that is our bumper video for just this idea that we're talking about, like the people around you influence you, like, right? And with love, we're getting ready for Thanksgiving. We're getting ready to get around the table. And I just thought about this idea of when you sit around a table, like you have food and there's people that you love around your table. Like that is sort of a cultural thing, right? You go hang out with your buddies.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, you go out to eat, you sit around the table, and some of those people who you sit around the table are some of the most influential people in your life. So I got JP here. We're just gonna have a conversation and just talk a little bit about what does this mean to really be aware of who's around your table. So the first thing is, hey, JP, tell me about your core group of friends.
Sure, yeah. So along with this, theme of Thanksgiving and food and all that stuff, my friends, I feel like all of us like to eat. Like we like to,
all right.
We'd consider ourselves foodies, where it's like, where can we go to eat? Or we call each other, what do you have for dinner? Give me an idea of what we are going to have for dinner.
Do you guys send pictures back and forth to each other?
Oh, for sure. Like we try to make our pictures like Instagram pictures, of food and see if one of us goes viral maybe one day with a food pic.
Yeah.
So, but my core group of friends is not very large. I would say my group of friends, I would consider, a lot of people my friend. But my core group of friends is really made up of like 4 or 5 people. And those are the people that we've had. I mean, we've been through school together. We've been through tragedies together. We've been through really good things together, wins and losses and all that fun stuff. So, but my core group of friends is somebody that I trust a ton, somebody that I could tell anything good or bad. If I'm struggling with something, those are the people that I can go to those people with, and that they're not going to spread that to other people, and I can trust them with the things that they're going to, really what they're going to help me with. And then, of course, what I'm contributing to them as well. I think it's really important that we look at these group of friends as a two-way street. What are we contributing? what are they contributing, and how are we doing this thing together?
Yeah.
So
So as you're growing up and as you have that core group of friends and just friends around you, tell me a little about how has your friends changed as you've gotten older, from high school to young adult to
sure.
family
Sure.
man,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
How has that changed? What has that dynamic been like?
Yeah, it was super interesting getting becoming a family man. So really, it took a little bit for my friends and people around me to realize, like, I can't just drop something to go snowboarding anymore. I can't do that. Or if I say I'm busy, that doesn't mean that I'm gone out of my house. I might be busy with hanging out with my family and things like that. So it was really just an explanation. You had to explain to them. You had to sit them down and talk to them, because not all my friends had kids at the same time. Some of us had kids at the same time, and we got each other right away. Like, yo, man, we get it. Life just all of a sudden got busy, or life all of a sudden was different, and priorities had to change. That doesn't mean that I can't hang out or I can't do things, but it's going to be a lot more of a planned event. It's not just drop in and go anymore. Yeah. So, and then on top of that, trying to plan those events. So saying well, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing 3 days from now, but we do have to figure it out so that I don't just go home and say, all right, Ashley, I'll be gone in an hour, and I'll be gone for the day. But how that changed is even through school. I mean, I had a different group of friends or a bigger group of friends. I feel like as I've gotten older, my friend group has gotten much smaller, and I'm okay with that. I used to have this, how many friends do I have? How big is my group? And now I'm really concerned about the quality of a friend that I have, right? Even though I have a broad group of people that I like and can talk to and all that stuff. So, but I think as time goes on, as we get older, friend groups also move in different directions around different. I have friends now that I went to high school with, and this is the stuff that I talk to students about. Is that the thing that I miss about school, right? Whether that's middle school or high school. Is I do not miss homework. No. I do not miss sitting in class. I don't miss taking tests. I don't miss all that stuff. What I miss is having all of my friends in one place at one time every day. And that's the biggest thing for me, that I'm like, man, I miss that, because now the guy that was one of my best friends growing up, he's stationed down in Virginia. And before that, he was in California. So we can talk a lot, but I don't see him very often. And that's another thing, too, is becoming a family man, I can't just pack up and I'm going to go visit my friend over in California anymore. If I want to bring my family to do that, the sacrifice or the cost of that goes significantly up, because I'm going to bring my family. So, yeah.
So has there been a moment in your life where you actually had to step away from a friend? And maybe walk through that scenario of what was that moment where you're like, you know what?
Yeah.
We need...
Yeah.
I can still love you, right?
Yeah,
but...
Yeah. We had talked about that. And those conversations are always super hard to have with somebody. But at the same time, you have to look out for yourself in that moment. So if I have a friend or somebody that is really dragging me down the wrong path, or when I get together with that person, we don't do things that are glorifying to Jesus, or we don't do things, or we don't talk the way that we should, or I notice myself changing when I'm around this friend or this group of people, I have to kind of step back and create a boundary there. Yeah. So that doesn't mean I just go to that person and be like, well, you're horrible because we do horrible things, or we talk about horrible things, so I'm out, see ya. I don't think that that's the Christian way to do things either. I think there's a way to go on about that and tell this person, hey, here's what I'm struggling with inside of this friendship. And if this is what I'm struggling with, and we aren't willing to change this at all, and we aren't willing to really work on this and hold each other accountable to that, then I'm going to have to take a couple steps back. Again, it doesn't mean we can't talk or say hi or like that, but we're going to have boundaries. And boundaries are, overall never fun, but they have to be in place,
Yeah, so can you talk a little bit more about maybe what those boundaries look like, right?
Yeah.
Because we kind of talked like, okay, we don't just say, hey, you're stupid, I want to run away from you,
Yeah.
never talk to you again. Maybe walk through some
Yeah.
of what could those boundaries look like
Yeah.
in a high school student, right?
Sure,
Or
yeah,
middle school student.
Yeah. Well, having those boundaries too, I think, like I said, having that conversation, I think there's a way to do it lovingly. That's one of the big things is, you know, I've been on the receiving end of a friendship ending in a way of like, we didn't have a conversation, it just stopped. And then I sit here and I think, what happened? Like, what's wrong? Why can't we talk? Why does this have to be awkward now when we see each other? You know, things like that, because at one point we always talked, you know, and so having the boundary and having the conversation of like, hey, you know, I used this example with you earlier when we were talking about this to begin with. You know, there's people that go and party, right? Well, if you're not wanting to be in that party stage or good things don't come from those party stages, maybe your boundary is you don't go to the party. That doesn't mean you don't talk to the person that you went to the party with anymore. That just means you don't go party anymore with that person. And you just say, hey, I'm willing to still hang out, but we're going to go grab coffee instead of grab alcohol. Yeah. Or we're going to go grab, you know, and I know that this is crazy to talk about this in like a middle school and high school setting, but the truth is it's there. Yeah. It's there. It's in that environment, and as much as we would like to think it's not, it's true. Ask any student. They've either been exposed to it or know people that have been. Yeah. And so creating those boundaries like that, again, where maybe you don't just shut this person down, but at the same time, figure out, well, let's go do this instead of that. Or, you know, a big thing with relationships. If you're in a relationship and it's not going down the path that you should, and we all know what I'm talking about here, maybe you hang out with a group of people instead of hanging out with just each other. Yeah. Right? Yeah. As silly as that sounds, as all that sounds, what matters is like what you do to set those boundaries. And so, you know, the group of friends that I hung out with growing up, man, like we had we you know, went out with people, we dated girls and all this stuff too, but that group of friends like was always around with that person. It helped keep me accountable, it helped keep us accountable. And then at the same time, we were able to talk about those kind of things as well. Yeah. I love how you put this idea of, okay, you have that boundary of an activity, right? Yeah. Drinking, whatever, maybe it's going to watch R-rated movies, like whatever, right? You kind of have that boundary of, you know, I'm not going to do that with you, but let's go play mini golf or something. You know what? I remember that when I was growing up in high school, and I had friends that just loved to go out and drink with all their friends and stuff, and underage and everything. And I would literally tell them, like, dude, like, if you're gonna go out on a Friday night, like I'll take you to Crash Cruisers and like let's go karting and like mini golf. You know, I'll pay for it. Like, you know what I mean? But that's just kind of this idea of I can still love them, and that boundary is I'm not gonna do that activity with you. Sure. It's we talk about this at Journey all the time. Is, you know, it's like removing the things that out of our lives that need to be removed, but then replacing them and filling that cup back up with the things that need to be replenished. Because if we don't fill that cup back up with something good, what happens? Fills back up with the same thing we just emptied it with, right? And it might be in a different look, but at the same time, like I said, if you just say, well, I'm not gonna go to party anymore. Well, now when that party's going on, you decide not to go, now what are you gonna do? You know, if you don't replace that with something different, like, hey, let's get coffee instead, or let's go get dinner, or let's go to Craig's Cruisers or whatever, it's gonna be much harder to not like cross that boundary and be like, never mind, I'm just gonna go. And then you get into this loophole of like, well, I'm here and I said I wasn't gonna be, and now they're gonna look at you and say, see, man, like nothing's changed. Nothing's changed like you wanted it to. Yeah. And they're gonna look at that, and that's an accountability thing. Yeah, absolutely. So. So here's kind of the next question that we're gonna land on. How have you seen in your life, past, present, future, whatever, how have you seen like your friends affect you? Yeah, for sure. This could go so many different ways. I've seen my friends affect me really good, and I've seen my friends affect me really bad, right? So we've all been there. We've got caught up in conversations we shouldn't have. We've all gossiped, or, you know, we kind of pile on something like, did you hear what this person did? And then next thing you know, you're all talking about it. And next thing you know, you're saying things about this person that if that person was sitting right next to you and heard you saying those things, they'd be really, really hurt. And And you think, well, the only reason why I can say this is because that person's not sitting next to me. But what usually happens? They usually gets back around to them.
Yep.
If not even worse than what you actually said. Now you've hurt this person. So, you know, we've got to be careful when we're with these friends. Even the core group of friends I have now, again, it's the same thing. We've done really good things. We've done really dumb things. And it's just because, again, as we were younger, we don't do like the things that we used to do when we were younger.
Yeah.
Or we've learned from the mistakes that we've made in that, you know, time. And it's like, I'm not going to do that anymore. Why? Because I'm older. Now I have kids watching me, and now I have, you know, even with youth group and students, like, one of the parts I love about being a youth leader is it actually gives me just a way bigger accountability level, right? So I have to not only look at like what my own kids will see or my family will see, but now like I have students that are on Facebook, Instagram, and they're gonna watch the things that I post.
Yeah.
And when that happens, when we post things, I just told you this earlier today. We don't post things to hope that nobody says anything, doesn't like it, doesn't comment on it, doesn't, you know, heart it on Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we don't do that. We want people to see it. We want people to comment on it. We want people to ask us questions about it, and that's why we post those things.
Yeah.
So what's nice about that is, like, I've had friends where I've posted something, and they, like, knew that thing I posted wasn't something that I align with normally, or I wasn't thinking rationally, or I was upset or something like that. They call me out on it, like, hey, dude, like, I probably wouldn't throw that out there.
Yeah.
You know, and then I have to kind of sit back. So friends can affect me that way too. They can kind of reel me back in, which for me is fantastic, because there's a lot of times I'm a youth leader and I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times where I'll do things and it's like I just need somebody to say, hey, knock that off. And that might be a good friend of mine that probably took a lot of courage for him to actually say that, because I'm so used to that friend just telling me everything I want to hear.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's important to tell your friends the things that they don't want to hear, and then hopefully they take that to heart and kind of reflect on what you had said.
Yeah. I remember just as you were talking, I remember when I was in 6th grade, I had a really good friend, and he had older brothers, so we kind of hung out with them. And I remember I like thought it was cool to curse like them. So there was a moment in my life, like for like months, I just thought it was the coolest thing to curse. Like blank, blank, blank. I mean, that was the coolest thing to do.
It wouldn't even make sense.
Yeah, it didn't even. Yeah, I'm like, I don't even know what this stuff means. Like, I just hear them because they're older people, and they like affected my life big time. And I look back at that, I'm like, wow, like that is so. Like, that affected me when I was in 6th grade, you know?
Well, and to go along with that, with this stuff here, another thing I would tell students, middle school, high school students, I would tell them all the same, you have people looking up to you. They can be older than you, they can be younger than you. And
good.
what you're doing right now, the things that you post right now, people look at that. Even me as a youth leader, I'll see things that students post, and I'll think, man, this person's pretty cool. Like, I wonder if that's the cool thing to post these days. Like, you know, the stuff, even like the songs that they will post on Instagram, I don't even know how to do that.
Yeah.
Right? But I see like a student posts a post and it has a song, and I'm like, that's pretty sweet. How do I do that? That's me looking up to you as a student. Like, I have no idea. Tell me how you did that. That's cool. You know? And so, and it's sad that it's like that, because it makes me feel extremely old, because I remember like my grandma would used to call me and be like, I'm on the computer, which button do I push? I'm like, Grandma, I cannot see your screen.
Escape, Grandma, escape.
I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I would have to end up just driving over there and helping her out, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's what I would say with these students now is like your influences, your friends, all those things matter, because they're going to influence you on how you go. That motivational video said that, like, show me your phone, I'll show you your future. Like, is that not the truth? If someone grabs our phone right now, are we worried about what they're going to find? Or are we we don't care? Like, yeah, here it is, open it up, post a stupid selfie, haha, you know? And that's where I'm like, I don't encourage anybody to go grab anybody's phone and be that way. But you know, I've been on that end of like, people will have my phone and they'll start scrolling. I'm like, whoa, watch it. You know, it's like, and it's just because, you know, back then I thought dumb things were funny and I thought inappropriate things were funny. And then next thing you know, I'm like, I don't want you to see that. And now I feel ashamed because of what was on my phone, you know? And so that's where I would say if you are worried about what someone's going to see on your phone, maybe you should think about that thing that's on your phone. Maybe you should think about, like, well, why is it on there? Yeah. And is it appropriate? Is it something that I should have? Is it something that your friends sent you? I can get caught into that loop very, very easily of people sending me things that they think are funny, and I'm like, that's horrible. Like, that is horrible, you know? Yeah. And it's sad because us as humans, we laugh at that, and then I'm like, you know, like, I'm gonna have to delete that. And now I have the opportunity to either tell this person, like, hey, yeah, please don't send me that. Well, I thought you'd think it was funny. I get that, but I just can't, like, I can't go down that path, you know? And so it matters. It really matters. And that's where I would say to these students the same thing. Like, they got kids, man. It's high school, you have the middle schoolers looking up to you and what you guys are doing and what's in style and what's cool and all that stuff. And I know that sounds like an old guy saying, but at the same time, it is so true. It is so crazy what social media portrays and what you're portraying on social media, and the friends that you have, the people that you hang around with. And, you know, another reason, like, invite them here. If you don't think that they would come here at all, like, ask yourself why, or ask them why, or, you know, extend the invite. I think a lot of people might show up if you just invite them.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, so I got another question. What characteristics do you look for in a friend that's in your inner circle?
Sure. Yeah, I look for, you know, I look for somebody who's real. I look for somebody who doesn't necessarily always have everything all together. All my friends, if they are going through bad times, they're willing to tell me that. Yeah. If they're struggling with something, they're willing to tell me that. If they're winning on things, they're willing to tell me those things. So that's another danger of, again, back to the social media thing. So many people just share their wins. They share everything that's really, really good. And then you feel like you have to live up to that standard and that this person's got it made. When it's like they shut that off and it's like they're struggling. They're in rough shape, right? And so that's where that core group of friends comes in to be like, I'm really struggling with this. Whether that's a death, whether that's a friend, whether that's something that's going on with their family, any of that stuff. I think it's so important to be able to have somebody that you trust, somebody that you know is going to, I wouldn't even necessarily say keep your secrets, but at the same time, somebody that you know isn't just going to go spread the, you know, oh, you screwed up, I'm going to go tell this person, and this person's going to go tell that person. Next thing you know, it's just getting around, and it's sad. But so somebody that you trust, somebody that you look up to. I always try to surround myself with people that I want to be more like.
Yep.
You know, if I want to be more like that person, I want them in my group. I want them in there because that's going to help me to strive to be like that person. Now, if I look at somebody, I'm like, I do not want to live like them when I grow up. I have to question, like, what are you doing? Like, why am I hanging out with this person? You know? And so that goes for, I think, goes for anything. It goes for church, goes for social activities, it goes for social media. And I think surrounding somebody with, or surrounding yourself with somebody that you want to be more like and that you can look up to yourself. And I think having a good age, like younger people in your group and older people in your group.
Yeah.
Older people in the group, like I said, the reason why they know more things, they've been through more things. They've been through more life experiences and all that stuff. So I've got friends who, you know, are in their 60s, and people are like, well, why would you? It's almost weird for me to be like, yeah, that's my friend, and like they're old. But at the same time, like they are my friend, and they have a lot of like wisdom, and they have a lot of things about them that I can like bounce off them. Like, hey, what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? And they can give me a whole different perspective than, you know, my 25-year-old friend. Yeah, like they can just do that. So,
okay, so good qualities, toxic qualities. What are some things that you're like? Bad news, like stay away.
Drugs.
Like when you put people around your table, like what are the qualities that you're like this is this could, and if you even have like a story about it, I know well, we didn't talk about this. This is putting you on the spot.
No, that's I'm good with that. You know me. I think pessimism. If people look out, if people look and they look at things always super negative, it's hard for me to be around those people.
Preach. Yep.
Because it brings me down, and then I look at the same negatives as they look at. Now, don't get me wrong, there's going to be times where things are negative, right? There's going to be times where people, things are just crappy, and that's just the point, you know. Biggest thing is like when somebody passes away. You're not going to sit there and say, oh, look at the silver lining in this. You're like, no, this is horrible. This absolutely is terrible. But then there's other things where it's just like, again, you know, this person said this about me. Well, let's look at the silver lining there. They're probably a little jealous of what you got going on, and they're probably this and that. And, like, you can easily turn that around to, like, be fueled to the fire of, like, I'm going to do better. So I just feel like, you know, with the story that the people that are going to always talk negatively, those are going to be the ones that, for myself, is going to be hard to be around.
Yeah. So we actually have a question from online.
Let's hear it.
That's pretty good. Hey, you guys throw questions in. I didn't even. This is impromptu right here.
That's true.
What are different levels of friends, and how do we know differences?
Yeah.
So what are different levels of friends?
Yeah.
Let me.
Yeah.
I think I have friends that I'll tell anything to. Oh, I'm dropping my phone all over the place. That I will tell anybody anything to. Like, those are like my inner friends that are like, I value their opinion, right?
Level one.
Level one, yeah. Like, that's like the
Closest.
ultimate, yes, closest. But then I have friends too that I don't know if you've gotten older and you've done this too. Like, I have friends that I'm like, I really just want to go out to eat with you, and that's like the extent of our friendship. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, let's take a road trip down to Indianapolis for a basketball tournament.
It's like you get fixes.
Yeah. It's like, okay, every 2 months, let's get together and just. But anyway, so there's like level one, and I think there's a level two where you're like, you value them, but you're like, you're not gonna bring like the deepest, darkest passions, you know?
Yeah.
But you can still have fun. Like, you can still go to a basketball game, whatever. But
Well, you got to realize that you're going to have friends like that, and you're going to be that for somebody.
Yeah.
You know, and so, like, it's not like even, because it can sound super harsh, right? Like, that can sound really harsh, saying, well, I only want to just deal with you for a little while. But that might be you for somebody else, and that's just because we're humans. We have different personalities. We have different likes and dislikes and all those things. And so, like, probably the people that I don't agree with on a lot of the things that I think of, some of those people are still my pretty good friends, but they're not the people that I'm going to hang out with all the time because we're completely opposite thinkers, right, or different. But, like, I still think it brings a lot of life to still be friends with those people, and you can learn a lot from them people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the kind of second question is, how do we know differences? I think they're asking, like, how do you put one person on a level, one person on a second level? What do you think?
And for me, it's just it just falls into place like that. It doesn't. I wouldn't ever categorize it like, all right, been your friend for a few weeks and you're at 2. You're at a level 2. You're not quite to level 1 yet. But there's those people that I have a natural connection with. I mean, right off the bat, I joke around about this. I was talking to Joel about this earlier. Is that, like, I look at somebody, I can interact with them one time and think, that's going to be my friend.
Yeah.
Like, that is my jam right there. Those people, yes. So then I start, like, thinking to myself, what can I do to get over to have lunch with them? Or can I have dinner at their house? Or I'm going to get myself in there, right? I'm going to get myself. Me and Ashley have talked about this before. Like, we're completely the opposite that way. I'm like, if I find someone that I'm going to be friends with, they could be famous. I'm going to get in that. I'm going to make sure we're going to have friends, right? So, and then there's other people that, you know, they'll just stand by and, like, they wait for those people to come to them, right? Yeah. So for me, I'm like the opposite. I'll just go after it. Like, you're cool, I'm in. Let's, like, what? Tell me more about you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And go from there.
I think the biggest thing that I kind of think about, how do we know the differences? And I only have like 2 levels, and then people that I never hang out with, level 3. But I think, like, between those 2 levels for me, this person has to make me better, right? Yeah. Like, this person is somebody that I want to live like you. You know, and I want you to rub off on me because I need your qualities, your characteristics, your passion, your work ethic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a big thing. And I think as students, as you navigate the world of friendships and, going from middle school to high school, and sometimes you change buildings or whatever, or you go to college, or you're getting ready to, move, you're getting ready to graduate this year, whatever. But like those people that you want in the inner circle, they have to make you better, right?
I feel like those are the people too that you're willing to do anything and everything for,
Yeah.
right? So like my friend who's over in California and Virginia, like before I got married, I went down to Florida to visit him, like just by myself, like fly down there and like spend time there, willing to spend money to get to that person. And if anything was to happen to that person and they're far away, like I will be there, I will rearrange my schedule for that kind of person. And so, and that's where, I feel like those people too, that you're willing to spend time, money, whatever it takes to make sure that that person knows that you're there and that you care for them.
Yeah.
If they were in a hospital down in Florida, are you going to go visit them?
Yeah.
That's when that's my number one people.
Yeah.
Those are the people that I would hold really, really close to me.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting. So as you were talking, I was kind of thinking this. There's people who make me better. When I was an athlete, I wanted to hang out with basketball players who were better than me because they pushed me, right? They pushed me to do something better. So in that world, I had a lot of friends that were basketball players that were better than me, that pushed me and grew me. And at this point in life, I think it's like, I want people that are going to like push me spiritually, right?
Yeah.
Like I want people to help me become the man of God,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't need to, I love basketball. I don't need to be a college athlete anymore, right? I don't need to like make $1 million. Like that's not my jam. Like my jam is just, I need you to make me a better man of God,
Yeah.
So I think in life there could be that moments of even students, if you're playing lacrosse or something, right? Like have people there that are going to make you better lacrosse player, right? Like force you to get better. That's awesome. Is there any more questions? Yeah, throw them out there. If you got questions online, comment section. This is pretty good. This is good stuff.
So I don't know. We'll see how this goes over.
Okay.
Ready for this?
Yeah.
So I heard a saying one time that said somebody, if you want to go to the gym because you want to lose weight, don't go there with a fat friend, which that sounds really harsh, or overweight friend or anything like that. Because if you go to the gym, if I go to the gym with somebody that's not like a workout monster, what happens? We sit there, throw the towel over my shoulder, like, hey, man,
Chit-chat,
let's go walk on the elliptical for a couple minutes, then maybe we'll do a couple curls, and then you're there for 45 minutes, you've hardly done anything. Yeah. Whereas you get the person that's like the gym frequent person, move it. We got this workout and this, and next thing you know, 45 minutes was way more productive than the one that you're just there talking with.
Wow.
And so that's where I feel like, again, you look at the people that, like, I want to be like that. And that can go with anything. Friends, that can go with people from school. Like, if you want to have better grades, well, look at the people that get super good grades, hang out with them and figure out, how do you do this?
Yeah.
How do you figure this out?
Yeah.
And I think that in life where I'm at, like business-wise, if I want to do something better, guess what? Now I'm going to hang out with somebody who does make more money and say, what are the steps that you took to get there? How can I do that too?
Yeah. So Anna has a cool little thing. Being genuine is key. And I think that's exactly what you were talking about. Yep. Like the realness. I want a friend that's real. I want a friend.
Transparent.
Yeah.
Transparency.
And how about we go to this point? How do we, oh man, because let me tell you what, like it was hard for me when I had those college basketball buddies. When they told me, like, yo, your jumper's whack, you need to work on it. Like how, you're like, oh, dang, right?
Good.
But how important, like, let's turn it that way, right? Like the gym kind of thing. How do you, one, be a good friend, but also, like, have people around you that can tell you those hard things, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If
like,
you have those people that can push you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the kind of people you want. You don't want people just to smack you on the back and say, hey, everything's great, good job. You're never going to get better. You're never going to improve any of that stuff. If you have somebody that's hard, a lot of the times I can appreciate the friend that comes at me and says, like, hey, you got to do this better. Yeah. Because they're the ones that say, I see potential in you and I know you can do it, so just do it. If you actually just listen and do it, don't put your shield up in defense of like, nope, I've got it going on. Never mind, leave me alone. Like, those are the people that you're going to, if you stop and just reflect, like, maybe my jump shot is whack. Okay. And now you watch it on film like, whoa, I thought that was awesome,
Yeah, right.
And so, like, you're able to, and you might not have ever known that was, you might not have ever had a better jump shot because nobody was willing to tell you because you thought you had it going on. And it's like, sometimes, again, I said it before, those hard conversations, they may be hard, but at the same time, and the people that are receiving it, you got to feel them out too. If they're super defensive, they're probably going to get all defensive and mad and walk away from you and this and that. And you would hope that they might come back and say, hey, I thought about that, and you're right. You're right. But that might not happen either. So you got to be careful. You got to feel those people out.
Yeah. So one question that was, who's in your inner circle? So, I mean, maybe not like names, but maybe like...
Names?
Names, tell me all. But maybe like what, and you kind of talked about that you have different age people, right?
Yeah,
Maybe just kind of fill them in,
I
like
mean,
what...
I have friends that are in my inner circle that, like, I had a buddy in high school that, I would consider him my best friend, right? And he had a younger brother, and it was the classic older-younger brother relationship. It was pretty funny. We'd be playing video games at his house, and he'd have his door shut, and his younger brother would just come and knock, and my buddy would just literally say, no. And I kind of looked at my boy like, dude, why is it a big deal? He's annoying. I'm not having him in here. Not happening. I'm like, that's pretty harsh. The few times he let him in, he did beat him in, like, Madden. We'd always play Madden, and he'd always beat him. So that's
Wait, the little brother beat the...
all the time. That's why he's like, no. So, but it's crazy because, like, that buddy of mine, he ended up passing away. A lot of people know that story. He ended up passing away right before we graduated high school. His younger brother became one of my really, really, really good friends. And it probably wouldn't have happened if he wouldn't have passed away because, again, not that he, like, kept him at a distance. It's just we didn't have that relationship there. So now we were able to, we got close through tragedy. And then from there, we were able to formulate a friendship that, again, it's a really good friendship of mine. And I appreciate it. And it's the friendship has gone through the classic church word, seasons, okay? It's gone through seasons, all right? We're all going to lean in on this one. So it's gone through, like, classic seasons of there's times where we don't talk a lot. There's times where we've gotten into arguments and we've had differences, but we always end up usually coming back full circle. And it might take longer to come back full circle, but we end up doing that because it's important, and it's an important thing. And so I think with that inner circle, we have those people that are there maybe because a tragedy happened, or we might have people that I have other friends that have been friends since high school. I've had other friends since since church, man, when we all went to different schools, but we would see each other at church every week. And so those were my friends. Then as I got out of high school, I've developed other friends. From church here, I've developed other really close friends. And that's where I would say, like, even having friends that are all different stages is super important because, Derek at one point was my youth leader. Yeah. And when I was in youth group, I would never, like, say, well, Derek's my friend because he's my youth leader. Yeah. And most of the time I was just an idiot, so I'd get in trouble all the time and get yelled at. So, like, he probably wouldn't have considered me a friend there either. But then, like, I got out of school, and, like, our friendship has grown so much with their family that those are some of the most important people in my life,
So, not that this is your whole inner circle, but 3 people, you don't have to say names, but, like, they're my age, they're younger than me, they're older than me, and one quality that they're in your inner circle for. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say just the 3 demographics of people was what I would say. So the 3 demographics of people would be the younger, people that I would consider friends inside a youth group, even the students, because they teach me a lot of things. They teach me things that are going on in schools that I never had going on in school, right? And then I would say the people my age, the ones that I've grown up with a really long time, those are super important people. And then, again, the people that are older that have gone through a lot more different things and are able to actually just, tell me, like, hey, I've been through that, and I get it, and it's going to be okay. There's light at the end of the tunnel, I promise.
Yeah, that's cool. We're going to wrap it up. Do we have those? We have 3 questions for you that your leaders are going to ask you. So I want you guys to get a piece of paper down, kind of think through this a little bit. So here's 3 questions that I want you guys to think about and just take some time on. So we'll hit it.
Hey, Journey students, who is at your table?
Hey everyone, we love you guys. We miss you guys. Question number 2 is, how have they changed you?
All right, Journey students, listen up. Here it is. Focus. Hear me on this. I'm coming at you right now, and that question is, how do they support you?
All right. So hey, take a little bit of time, write down those questions. Like, who's in your inner circle? How do they affect you? Just think about it. And as you go throughout this week, we're gonna wrap up here. As you go about this week, just think about it. Maybe the first thing that these students can do is, they don't sit around tables anymore at school for a cafeteria, don't they? Shoot.
Probably not allowed.
Well, yeah. Well, think about who you would sit if it was not COVID world.
You know, they used to have on cell phones, it used to be your favorites.
Oh, yes.
You remember that?
Yes, your friends. Well, hey.
That used to be a thing. You
That
could
used
call
to be
them
a
for
thing.
cheaper.
Yeah, AT&T or whatever. I
Yeah.
remember Michael's God didn't have fun. Anyway, sorry. Office. So maybe this is just something. Think about this week. Who would you sit around lunch with in a cafeteria? Who would you sit around lunch with? But yeah, so that's the challenge. Hey, we love you guys. We can't wait to see you next week. Everything goes well. We're going to be meeting in person. We're going to be able to air high five you and smile at you and say we love you, we care
Through
for
our
you.
masks.
Thanks for tuning on. We love you. Let me pray for you guys. Heavenly Father, we just love you. We just ask that all the students that are watching and that are going to watch throughout this week, God, that you just bless them. Challenge them, Lord, to figure out who's in their circle, who's at their table, God, that they can put people there that's going to influence them and become closer to you, Lord. We love you. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, hey, love you guys. Have a great night. We'll see you next week, Sunday. Deuces.
When I draw close to you, when I draw close to you, in your presence, heaven, nothing comes close to you, nothing comes close to you. I find heaven, heaven, when I draw close to you, when I draw close to you, in your presence, heaven. Nothing comes close to you. Nothing comes close to you. And all my life, I've been searching for this. Here with you, nothing's better than this. I find heaven. Heaven, when I draw close to you, when I draw close to you, in your presence, heaven, nothing comes close to you, nothing comes close to you. stress of the world is too much to take. There's a place I can run to. Every piece of my pride now I give away. You're the hope that I cling to. There's nothing like falling right into the arms of the Father. Here in your presence, I'm caught in a love like no other. This feels like heaven. Nothing is meant.